American Communications Network presents RVP Leadership Training with top RVPs and members of our Circle of Champions, an elite group of ACN leaders representing the highest in achievement, integrity, and income. In this exciting series, these leaders share priceless information to help you build your ACN business. Now, let's join one of these outstanding achievers who has set an incredible example for others by reaching ACN's top position of Regional Vice President, Mr. Larry Raskin.
They call this the RCA Dome, huh? You know, I had visions one time in my life in being in domes playing ball. How many people understand that today the ACN Eagles were playing? See, it's game day. And you know, I think we all need to have a lot of vision when thinking about ACN, and I had a vision backstage. And you know, I went to college. I had a major. My major was mass communication. So what better time to let you know how I feel about ACN than to give you my vision that I felt backstage. You ready? And ACN Eagles on the 45-yard line. We got Provenzano on the huddle. He's calling the play, and the huddle breaks. We have Tony Kupas wide left, Mike and Tony Kupas wide right. We got Stefanowski in the slot. And listen to this crowd. And boy, are they ready. And the AT&T Bay Buccaneers, 0-17 against the ACN Eagles. And the snap. And the snap, and the handoff to refrigerator Taub. Going off tackle, hit, up, he's still up. Going through the 40, the 35, the 30, the 20, 10, he's gonna make it, touchdown! Game day, it's game day. You know, the AT&T Bay Buccaneers, the bottom of the league, aren't they? Always. Can't get it right. What a pleasure it is to be here. You know, a lot of us do somewhat of duplicated training. You know, and when I was asked to train for this weekend, you know, most of you that have heard me before and even heard my partner Stuart, and a lot of the leaders, the great speakers that you heard this weekend, we basically train on a lot of the same things. Don't you agree? Well, there's a message in that. The message is the business is the business. It works a certain way, and you need to get that. So when I asked them what would they like me to cover, a real good suggestion by Greg and Robert, I think Mike and Tony as well, because I was asking all of them, they asked me, if I knew what I knew today, if I knew all that I knew today, how would I as a field trainer starting in the business go about my business from day one? So is that a good question? Now, let me give you we had a little bit of a head start. Remember, we have a lot of experience in network marketing. Stuart and I came from a prior company, a combined total of just under 15 years, and now we're with ACN. We kind of knew what to do. And I'm going to give you some realizations that we had when we first started with ACN that allowed us to really actually achieve RVP at 8 months. Now, records are made to be broken. I know that all of you are looking for the person that's going to do it in less than 8 months. Am I correct? And all you want to do is be overriding this person, right? And what I can tell you is that this person won't be creating new ideas for what they did. They're just going to follow the same track of all the people that have done it already and just accelerate the pace. Because all the founders of the company all agree, and so do the leadership of the company agree, is that there's going to be people going RVP in 5 and 6 and 7 months. You see? Because there's more success to build on today than there was 2 years ago. Does this make sense? So what I want to cover is a topic that I think kind of speaks for itself, and that is massive action. Massive action. 90 days to field coordinator, 12 months to RVP. Sounds like a good business plan, doesn't it? But you know, a lot of us, because of the backgrounds that we have some possibility blindness. You know, it could happen for you, but you know, how could it happen for poor little old me? Is this, you know, have you met some people that feel that way? And the only thing I can tell you when thinking about, you know, why it's possible and why it isn't possible is that certain people that you have met in other network marketing companies have not given their personal opportunity in their network marketing program the respect that it deserved as they were telling and sharing the opportunity with people. Therefore, our perceptions of multi-level marketing, and this is more so in the past, has been somewhat tainted due to the lack of respect that other distributors in different opportunities have given their own opportunity. You know, if they said it was a $1 million opportunity, why did they give it a nickel-dime presentation? Can you relate to that? See, ACN has such a great opportunity, we must raise our level of presentation to a level of greatness to equal the opportunity that we know that it offers. Now, substituting, you know, in the very, very beginning, the language that you need necessary, it can be substituted with quality information, but it has to also have with it excitement and enthusiasm. Isn't that true? We call ourselves an enthusiastic beginner. And you see, anybody that signs an application has made a commitment. And let me give you the definition of commitment as I see it. Commitment is doing what you said you were going to do long after the mood you said it in has left you. Yes or no? You have got to, when you commit to something, especially in our program, you're committing to the basics of what it takes somebody to reach a level of success. And there are things in our program that you must do. I mean, there's a target that we need to go after. And the target is surrounded by things that you must do, you should do, or you could do. You know, I should make three-way calls, but I'd like to rearrange the papers on my desk because every time I look at the phone, it looks like it weighs 4 tons. How many people had a fear of the telephone when you first started? And you avoid it by creating administrative duties that is so necessary for your success. Folks, there are things that you just must do, and what has been laid out this weekend are those things: the enrollment process, tools of the business, how to acquire customers, leadership, vision by all the speakers this weekend. So you need to make sure that you hit the target of what we must do. Now, the first thing that we must do, if we take a look at the 2 positions that you can get started in, which is optional customer rep and optional field trainer, is that we must make an immediate goal to hit the first earned position. Does this make sense? I mean, there is no real opportunity in making money without showcasing your own personal success. So what does it take to be an executive field trainer? You need to have 25 personal customers. You need to have 5 frontline field trainers, right? And the question is, how did that happen, right? You heard a lot of information this weekend on how it happened. Let's talk about step 1 of what you need to do in order to fulfill your 30-day game plan. Number 1 is that you position yourself as a field trainer. Now, why? We all like this long-term residual income. How many people like just the way it flows? Long-term, continuous, monthly, perpetuitous commission. You know, when I first heard that, I didn't know what it was, but I wanted a bunch of it. You know, so I wanted that. But see, what we understood from day one, because it's a slow build, it was so refreshing for me, folks, can you relate this? And Stuart, that we didn't hear from the people or the people already making money in the company that my first month I made $5,000. Aren't you tired of hearing those kind of testimonies from other companies? You know what they really said to you? They said to you, I sold way too much product to the people that bought it to start they could ever possibly sell, and I made the money. See, it isn't how much money you make your first or second month. It's you determine your success by how much your people make. If you're making the money, it's a program that you don't want to be part of. I mean, if someone else is only making the money. So what was refreshing to Stuart and I was that we knew that it was a long-term build. I like that, because what was residual in my household, as is in your household, was that we were going to pay our local bill, long-distance bill, cellular paging bill, cable bill, and we're going to pay all these future things that we currently have and things we don't even have that they say we're going to need. We're going to pay them anyway. Do we want to pay more or do we want to pay less? So as this thing's growing long term, how many people in the room, let me see a show of hands, would like immediate income as it's growing long term? You see, I explained the business in our local area, and so does Stuart, that there's two positions to start at. One has immediate income, and the other one has no immediate income. You see, but I don't condescendingly talk it down, but is that the facts? If you can show me a person in this program that was a customer rep for 90 days and was motivated week in and week out, attended meetings, brought people to meetings, and was real excited in their fourth month about getting their first couple customers hooked up and their check being $11 and they were excited about it, I'd be surprised if you could show me a handful of those people, if any. So, step one, let's go back to step one. Make sure that you position yourself to make money. You fill out the agreement at $4.99. Now you can fill in your Visa and MasterCard and just sign it. Isn't that awesome, folks? That the founders of this company plug every hole of any question that could be asked. How many of you in here have heard, how come you don't take Visa and MasterCard? So this is another thing to overcome it. And simultaneously with filling out the application to be part of the company, you fill out the application for voicemail and the credit card application. Step two. Get 10 customers with $200 in estimated long-distance usage. And what we say to do with that is to get that in the first 72 hours. Now, why? Because we have that as a qualification for you to schedule your private business reception. But let me warn you about the way that new field trainers think about coming from a job and entering a business of their own. In corporate America, there's very little appreciation. True or not true? A lack of appreciation and recognition. If they do not get the 10 customers in the first 72 hours, whatever they get, praise progress. Look for the good in people. Praise them in front of their peer group. Is it important? People will die for recognition. They want to know that you see a value in them. Let's go back to the steps again. Schedule the PBR within 2 weeks, and obviously become an LCI customer. Is that very, very important? You cannot drive a Chevy and sell a Ford. True? You can't do it. Third step. Read the ACN Field Trainer Manual. How many people in this room have had their new field trainers ask them questions and you know they have not read their field trainer kit? So what do? You ask them to read that field trainer manual, read it, I say read it 2-3 times, watch all the videotapes and audio tapes, attend all local meetings and regional meetings that you can. The person that learns the most earns the most. Does this make sense? And there's a couple things that you need to read. Also get the manual, Words That Work. It doesn't say words that don't work. How many people understand this business is all about one thing? This is my formula for what it's all about. The formula is You get a message that works and say it as many times as you can every day to different people. Oh, Larry, it's got to be more than that. I'm sorry, it isn't. Came to Indianapolis to hear that? Oh, that's what I'm going to tell you. I do the same thing day in, day out. Stuart and I do the same thing. Our leadership does the same thing day in, day out. We master the mundane, the everyday, every week, month in, month out, activities that predicate an end result of much success. Do you want that? That is what you need to do. So you got to read words that work and memorize the ACN presentation book. Now, memorization is a very easy thing. Let me tell you who I was when I was a little boy. I was the guy that had the neatest handwriting in class. You know why? Do you know why? Because if you wrote, "I must not talk in class," as many times as I did, you'd have good handwriting too. I, must, not. How many people were there? Is this making sense? But you got to memorize it. Repetition, saturation. And there's words that work. We have a three-way script that really works. We need to squeeze it into that manual. It's there in different wording, but we have a message that works. The company has messages that work. And when I say it needs to be no more than 4 or 5 paragraphs, a total of 3 or 4 minutes in the message. And let me tell you how you do it. If you have it on a script, I would take it out of the book, put it on a sheet of paper, the message that you like that works for you. Laminate it, listen to me, and tape it to your desk right next to the phone where you do your business. Therefore, no matter if Delzino or no matter if all the leadership, Stuart, Mike Crash, Bobby Smith, Tom Gilbert, all of our leaders, even though we know the script, we always have that there just in case. We need to get back on track, because what will people do when they have you on the phone? They'll try to do one of these. They'll try to trip you up, won't they? Especially the people closest to you. They're testing you. So when they all of a sudden throw you a question that's out of sync from what you want to tell them as far as the message, that script will keep you right on track again. Does this make sense to you? It's very important. So let me tell you how you do it. So you have it on a sheet of paper. You then read it in the morning and read it once before you go to bed. Hear what I said? Read it with your coffee. Read it at night before you go to bed, and write it out 1 time a day for 1 week, and you own it. Won't you own it if you write it out? Think of what you're doing. Hearing, touching, seeing, feeling. You're involving all your senses. You're feeling the words as you write them. You're saying the words in your mind as you read them, and you're using your eyesight to, of course, read them. You're involving everything to learn, and that's the best way to learn, involving all of that. Step 4, you must be an executive field trainer. The message is, folks, is it right? Don't sleep until you get there. Is there anything more depressing for a new field trainer to know that the fear of loss of their field trainers recruiting the field trainers down the line, that there's no margin paid to them, it's passing through them up to the qualified positions above? That's where all those margins are floating. Does fear of loss kick in for us when we were field trainers and for other people when they start? Yes or no? And let me tell you something, folks. Your responsibility is not to take somebody to executive field trainer. Your responsibility is to build and assist them in building a marketing organization, no matter where it falls. So it may go too wide, but the person that is under that new field trainer you recruited may go 3 wide under that. And you just keep on driving it with people that want to work with you and have your vision. And you're going to assist everybody to go executive field trainer, but you're going to only work with the people that have the commitment, they've done the basics, and they're doing exactly what you're telling them to do. Does this make sense to you? Don't sleep until you get to executive field trainer, because that's when you'll start earning a residual income. Remember, 99% of all of our people start part-time. I personally, if I know about it, will not allow anybody to go full-time unless they're financially independent. ACN was created to be a certain animal. Thank God there's no opportunity in ACN for you to make $5,000 your first month, or your second month. But let me tell you this, when you go field coordinator, is there full-time income available immediately? Absolutely. So what is the goal? The goal is field coordinator as quickly as you possibly can. And it's by doing certain things. The purpose is obviously to make a statement. You're going to make a statement to the people that you want to involve in your program that this is a business that you have to look at. You cannot afford, or your family can't afford, more importantly, to pass up this opportunity, at least in looking at it. And I will tell you this, think of it this way, a little inside-out thinking. Stay with me here. We have an obligation today. We have a responsibility from here on out to correctly communicate this message of ACN, because if we do not do that, we have stolen that person's opportunity. Thank you, all three of you. I want you to think about what I'm saying, folks. If you don't correctly communicate this opportunity and you cheapen the message, you discount the message, you give a nickel-dime presentation, you have stolen the opportunity from the person that could be a factor in this business, changing their lives forever. So you need to take responsibility, think of it as an obligation to make this thing work. There's two ways to become a field coordinator. Stuart and I looked at this, we flipped out. We knew that we would starve waiting to get excited about the long-term residual. Yes or no? Somebody said it's like watching paint dry, grass grow. How about hearing the grass grow? Right? So number one way, customer-driven or field trainer-driven. What is the best way? Field trainer-driven. That's the answer. Through field trainer acquisition. When we looked at field coordinator, this is what we looked at. There's two ways of becoming a field coordinator. And this is what you know from the marketing plan. Yes or no? 3 lines of 200, 1,000 customers total, 1,000 customers to become a field coordinator. But this is what Stuart and I saw. We saw that it took 150 people. Our customers people? Hello? Our reps people? So what is the best and the smartest way to get the field coordinator? Long-term residual and without focus on immediate income, or really driving the 1,000 customer total by field trainer acquisition, getting paid today as you wait for the big income to come down the road? Which is quicker? Now perception says to the new person, is it easier for me to get 150 people or 1,000? What is more doable for that person? 150. Are you getting it? So let me tell you, each trainer represents 7 customers. And I'll explain that in just a second. The 2 questions that we teach all of our leadership from the very beginning is how many trainers are we together going to put into your organization this month? Now, whatever number that is, if it's 5, and they only get 3, through all the tools of the business that we do, that I'll cover real quickly, through all of the process that you heard this weekend, the same process that you heard about being trained on. Let's say the end result at the end of 30 days was 3. Remember, these people are part-time, 3, that means 3 total in their group. They could have recruited 1 person personally, and that person they recruited could have gotten 2 more. The group together did 3, even though you were focused on 5. But what are you going to do as far as praising? Or are you going to praise the progress? You're going to look for the good, right? And then when the second month of a brand new field trainer, the second month comes the second question. How many trainers are we going to put into your organization this month, and where are they coming from? Meaning that in your first month it was only you. The second month you put trainers in the business. And based upon them starting their first full month, you're going to ask them how many trainers you're going to put into your business this month. The person that got involved before them will hear that second question, where are they coming from? And if you get a commitment from each one of the people that have been recruited in their first 30 days of getting a number of how many field trainers they'll be doing, right? You with me on this? They're going to shoot for a number, which is going to drive your immediate income flowing up to you. And here's what I also say. Do not wait for yourself to go to executive field trainer. If in fact you got field trainers growing underneath you, you're not getting paid on, folks, one thing that this will do is create momentum from day one. Folks, in here, is momentum important? It is the most important thing in network marketing. Do not concentrate on the money, concentrate on momentum, and the money will follow. This is important, folks. Concentrate on momentum. Why? Because immediate income as you're building the long-term residual. How does this all happen? You heard great training this weekend. I'm just going to list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. When I say go, I want you to do this for me. I want you all to say, when I say go, I want you to say, this business is as simple as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ready? Go. This business is simple as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let me show you what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is. One is you make a list. You can do red, greens, and blues. You can do 10 easiest, 10 best. You're going to set it up with three-way calling, get them to a three-way meeting, or weekly meeting, or a PBR. If they get involved during the week in your local market, they're going to have a basic training for all the trainers that got involved during that week. And twice a month, usually in most markets, you have different topics that are picked, and it'll be somewhat of a more advanced training, right? So basic and advanced training is 6. Leadership calls, national conference calls, and the voicemail, the way that we communicate with each other, is 7, and 8 is regional events and national events. What else is there, folks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, of course, with that comes the videos and the audios and the print materials and all that, and how you use it and interweaving it with this. It all relates to each other. Folks, what else is there than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? You see, and if you talk 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, what is the perception of this business? Simple. If you're not in 1 through 8, I'm wondering, what are you doing? What are you doing? Am I making sense? I have to. Next, you must. These are things you must do. You must do these things. You need to know who your players are downline and the upline experts above you. You know, a lot of us, Circle of Champions and all the fellowship of regional vice presidents that we work with collectively together, we're approached all the time. And I know that there's some people that are underneath a bunch of field coordinators and even maybe an RVP or 2 RVPs. And they're coming for me to do a 3-way call. I will always redirect them to the upline field coordinator or RVP that can assist them, because you've got to maintain the channel of command. If you start not training that way, then everybody is going to be pulling on you. Yes or no? RVPs up front, am I right or wrong? You don't want everybody in the world calling you when you know somebody is capable and able to do that for you. Number 2, do an average, write this down, an average of 2 3-way calls per day with your upline to get the prospects to the next event. More success equals more money. And then when you have a successful 3-way call, no matter how resistant people are to 3-way calls in the beginning, and by the way, that's tied into how you create the value for 3-way call, you're going to want to do more 3-way calls. And I gauge people's successes by how many 3-way calls are you doing. Is this true or not true? Would you like to have your people do more 3-way calling? You have got to be able to create a value for it, but it all comes with the word edification. You need to know how to sell that person properly. Let's go to the next must. Attend a local and regional training. First 90 days, take responsibility for your success. 4, get 50 personal customers within 90 days and share your success. 5, be consistent in efforts week in and week out. Keep your head in the game, and your people will do the same. Commit of going to weekly meetings every week. Nothing interferes with a weekly meeting in your area. And let's wrap up here. Learn the language. This is the most important thing that I see. The message is your people will recognize you know what you're talking about. The last one, I just want to say to you now, your road to RVP is by duplicating what it took you to do to go to field coordinator and ensuring that you have done that with your people. 5 things. Number 1, you got to learn the business or learn the basics. Write this down, very important. Learn the business, learn the basics. Number 2, learn how to teach it. Don't be a master presenter. You've arrived when you become a master trainer. Number 3, teach others how to teach it. 4, monitor the teacher is teaching. This is where this is where I see a lot of failures. People, when they go field coordinator, they don't monitor their groups, and therefore they're not fully plugged in. They assume that they got it, and they really don't. So always monitor. And number 5, I can say to you is, you are duplicated. Folks, you've gotten a tremendous amount of information this weekend. And I'd just like to wrap this up by saying this. I say it a lot now. You can't expect to change the world, but when you change your world, you've taken a major step in changing the world. And when you change your world for the better, you have made a tremendous step in helping a countless amount of other people as you do it along the way. ACN is a blessed company, therefore those people are in it are blessed also. And I will say this to you, from my heart, I love this company. I love all the leadership that has helped make it what it is today. Let's go back to our marketplaces and implement and execute what we've learned this weekend, and we will all see you in Baltimore. Remember, tell everybody, ACN is coming to a town near you. Thank you. Thank you.